Welcome to round 5 of All-Stars. We're in the second round of second stage. Neat. Let's get into confessionals as we always do. I didn't receive as many this round as I did last round, so these will go by quicker. ACN said, "I am everywhere, Cherito. You cannot escape my presence." That's oddly ominous. Charita said, "Place glitter bombs. Exploding create huge messes requiring expensive tidying." Ironic said, "Here's an easy way to take care of the ants. A massive noxious gas, unusually strong, suffocates unlucky soldiers." Why are people out here writing extra responses in their confessionals today? Mr. Dell said, "Epsilon bad." I don't think that's 10 words, mister. Not a donut sent this bullshit. Trico said, "So that business that I mentioned hasn't stopped. In fact, it has only gotten worse. I've basically had zero time to focus on this trial. So because of how long it takes to analyze all the cards, decide which cards I want to buy, write a response, and then change or reword my response to make it past technicals, I just don't have enough time to do all of that, even with an extension. And even if I had the time, the fact that I've taken the most damage out of everyone and I have almost no chance of making it to phase 3, which isn't necessarily true, but you do have a point, just makes me even less motivated to write responses. So I've made a decision. I'm DNPing in this round as well as all the remaining rounds. Making it to All-Stars is already a good enough achievement for me, and I'm happy with that, but I have to focus on my life now. Goodbye." So yeah, Trico will take 30th. Trico, I really appreciate your participation, both in this season and in past seasons. Thank you for playing, and good luck with whatever you're sinking time into. I'm happy to have you as a contestant, even if you couldn't complete the season. Thank you. And then this guy tried to raise his mention count like I can't easily work around it. Alright, let's get it. The prompt was, you wake up one morning to find your house completely infested with ants, who really just hate you personally. They've blocked all the exits and cut off your phone line so you won't be moving or ordering an exterminator. How do you get rid of all the ants while trapped in your house? Well, here's the point of the video where I tell you who won the round. Here's some hints. He made alumni in roguelike TWOW. He's participated in all 4 seasons. He has the moderator role on the Discord server. I mean, come on, I don't even know why I put in the effort of dressing the winner up anymore, like you don't know that it's Mr. Dell. After 3 rounds of dominance, somebody other than the names H wins the round. His response was, "It's a known theory that ants' thoughts fade fast. Bring a mask, they'll quickly forget who you are." Dell may not have had the strongest response out of everyone, but it still did fairly well, and Dell managed a massive 39% boost to compensate. That's the second highest boost achieved by anyone this round. He didn't use that many cards, actually. It was just smart management of technicals and points. Dell submitted the easier index card technical that required you to make your most used letter in your response a consonant. By my count, 9 out of 33 responses passed this technical. Dell, naturally, was the only person to pass it with multiple responses, since he did have a DRP. Dell will more than likely jump into the top 10 in terms of damage this round, as this win leaves him at 14 total. In second place is someone else who wasn't top 10 last round, and that's Winnie Unity. His response is worded a bit awkwardly, so I'm a bit surprised he managed second. The 36% boost spoke a bit louder, I guess. He's going to be taking 2 items from 96LB this round, which is pretty funny. RNG was a little bit nicer to Winnie this round, it seems. Those debit cards could potentially cause problems next round, though. If Dell takes gold and Winnie takes silver, then the bronze medal for 3rd place once again goes to Subtly. That's 3rd place 3 rounds in a row, Lee. Interesting. Union Jack shows up for the first time here, with Dodgy and Bloody being 2 fairly obvious fulfillments. This response also did a lot better than I thought it would. Lee actually got 3rd place raw in addition to 3rd place overall. I swear, you can't make this shit up with the number 3. Here's the names H, just a few spots behind where he usually is. H ended up with a 41.5% boost this round, which, of course, was the highest boost out of everyone. His response is completely impractical, but is probably my favorite out of the top 4. That only makes it even more odd that H ended up 4th. Votes this round were a bit suspect, I'll admit. H submitted the far more difficult index card technical that required you to reach 123 by converting the first letters of each word of your response into numbers and then adding them all together. Ugh. Other than H, the only people to pass this technical were Gizmote and Not a Donut. AC Hen jumped up a ton of placements to finish this round in 5th. Everyone on this screen purchased the same number of cards. Weird. ACN's the second person revealed so far to pull a response coupon from Hidden Block card, so I guess we'll be seeing him show up a bit later on this leaderboard again. ACN's response was also worded a bit awkwardly. I didn't expect this prompt to be as difficult as it very evidently ended up being. My bad. In 6th is Meowie Cat, who wrote in with a pun. You don't see that too often anymore, so it's cool to see the strat work out. Guess what? Meowie Cheese $2 bill again. I forgot to include a provision that stopped her from claiming that 8 and 2 are both inside of 82, effectively stacking the 3 numbers on top of each other. That will be patched, but she got away with it again. Hopefully this is the last time I have to patch that item. ZX dropped a few spots this round, but that Band-Aid did some solid damage control. I think ZX had my favorite response this round, and I think everyone else agreed, as they won in raw score by a fairly large margin. ZX only used 3 cards this round, which is also pretty cool. Dell's DRP is up next, no change in cards, just a lower scoring response. Gizmote places 8th, and he is the first and only user of half a response coupon. No matter the game, Gizmote will always try to play concise, and it tends to work. Gizmote is the only person to pass H's 123 technical, but not Dell's consonants technical, as Not a Donut and H both passed both. ACN's DRP places next. DRPs are doing surprisingly well so far. I'm honestly surprised how low ACN's standard deviation is on this response. Tragically, the highest placing player with Reinforced Band-Aid got 9th place again, just 1 spot away from having it work. This time it's Trojan who eats 8 damage uncontested. He did win with Ace of Diamonds though, so Trojan will have 3 extra points to spend next round in addition to his pack leading 18. His response is admittedly a little hard to decipher, so I get it. Legend Finder shows up in 10th with his damage cut by quite a bit. He's got a very strong response, which is impressive given the technicals he took. Island giving him Mountain on the final day of responding was very funny. Second place in raw score was Not a Donut, who went fairly light on the technicals this round and ended up 11th as a result. The healing build worked out well though, and NAD only took 3 damage this round, while also being the first person to successfully trigger Driver's License. TR comes in 12th wielding double Band-Aids, and he's also the first person to use an Ultra Ball so far. The responses are starting to get a little bizarre at this point, honestly. Definitely Not slipped a bit from round 4, but he's not doing too poorly. His entire response passes Rules Card Hard Mode, which definitely made it stick out a little bit. That's the probable cause of the highest standard deviation this round, 35.81. Corbulent's working on damage control from his failed Suicide King attempt, and he's discovered the strategy of using Holy Card on a deluxe DRP. It's costly in terms of points, but with a solid response like this one, it can work out pretty well. I'm surprised Corb's response didn't perform better, honestly, given how simple and untouched by technicals it is. Corb's boost came from the debit cards he used to attempt Suicide King last round, by the way. I know it kinda looks like he got 16% out of nowhere, but that's just the upswing of the 16% penalty that he took last round. Can you stop snoring, dog? Dude. Right under Corb is the other homie Cyclonic Rifted, who played a much simpler game this round. I will say though, I think you might be underestimating the power of ants if you think a handful of spiders could take them on. Razor's response is difficult to decipher, but he got a strong technical boost from Q Card, Purple Sign, and Union Jack. Both of Ali% responses show up one after the other next. Ali's top response has some interesting implications, while his second response really deserved higher. An Epic played with the technical game this round, and it didn't treat him too well. His sentence structure aligning with haiku format exactly made his response awkward, I guess. Cyclonic had the sexy ant response as his DRP, okay. I'm surprised Ghost response didn't score better. It isn't obviously molded to fit his cue card, and I think the idea is pretty funny. 42% raw is apparently as good as he gets him, unfortunately. Navy wrote a nice and simple response this round, and that was struck down during voting. Cherito's response tanked, probably due to the somewhat obvious technical fulfillment, and 21st place was as good as their cards could get for them. In 22nd is Marbleside with a pun response that was a bit too forced, I think. Marble did beat 50% in raw score, but with only Joker providing any boost, he got passed by a lot of people with stronger builds. Ironic was the opposite. His build was incredibly strong, but the first half of his response could have used some more explanation, I think. Gizmo's second response did more than 30% worse than his better response. Good thing it doesn't count. Wyatt almost DMP'd this round, and I'm glad that you didn't, Wyatt. Even if you didn't have that much time, you effectively saved yourself 9 damage by responding. Below that is Corpulent's penalty dump DRP, which was actually a way better response than it needed to be for what its purpose was. I can appreciate that. Peloto and Cobalt did not use the shop again, and both submitted some brief one-liners. We're just having fun down here, nothing wrong with that. Speaking of having fun, I don't even need to be suspenseful. The Mad Lad 96 had a 91% penalty. Nobody would have come close, even if they had wanted to try. 96 successfully pulls off a Suicide King usage, and he heals a sizable portion of his damage. Congratulations, 96. I also like how you've kind of invented the debit card pendulum strategy with your blank card and question mark card uses. That's clever. Since a few people DNP'd, that's where the leaderboard ends. Here's the damage leaderboard after round 4, and here's the current one. The largest gain in rank was from 96LB, who jumped 9 places from 15th to 4th. Dell gained 8 places from his win, so he's a close second. On the other end of the spectrum, Gray fell the most ranks this round, falling from 9th place all the way to 24th place. 15 whole spots. Remember, if you DNP, you take the maximum 29 damage. Out of the people who actually responded to this round, the person who fell the most was Ironic, who fell 11 spots from 5th to 16th. He's still definitely in a competitive spot despite the fall. 5 out of the top 10 in last round's leaderboard remained in the top 10 this round, while 5 fell out. 41 out of 50 unique cards saw use this round, which is only 1 down from last round. I expected that to decrease by a lot more. I guess you guys are more creative than I'm giving you credit for when it comes to item builds. Love to see that. Either that or my balancing is just flawless, like perfect. The most popular card for this round was once again Block of Wood, with 14 people taking it this round. That's 1 more than half of the people who responded to this round at all. I guess it's a pretty good item, huh? Hidden Block Card and Q Card were tied for second, with 11 users each. They both skyrocketed in popularity this round, so I guess people have decided that they're pretty good. Purple Sign and Fake Ballot both declined in popularity. Out of the 8 cards that were not used last round, 5 saw use this round. Donor Card, Plains, and Temperance have not been used by anyone. That list of 3 leads me to Balance Patch number 2. This will be shorter than last round, but there are a few changes I would like to make, including buffing those cards I mentioned that haven't been used yet. This round, both H and, to an extent, Dell wrote their responses first and then used an index card to make a difficult technical that their response happened to pass by chance. I've added a stipulation to index card to prevent that strategy from snowballing into a lineup of impossible technicals every round. If 0 other players pass your technical, you do not get the boost from index card, even if you pass your own technical. $2 bill has been given a slight modification because of Meowie Cat again. Now, internal words are only accepted in non-integers. Basically, this means that you can't submit 62 and count 4 separate numbers, 62, 60, 6, and 2. This only counts as 62, the number. Block of Wood isn't getting gutted, don't freak out, I saw you jump, you know. No, Block of Wood now has an added clarification for how numbers are read. If your response includes the word 1.1, that is read as 1.1, all one word. You also can't use something like 0.25 and justify that it's read as a fourth and therefore passes this technical, although you could submit 0.5 and justify that it's read as 0.5. I've removed the bonus for using British spelling from Union Jack simply because I found it too confusing to verify. Donor Card has had its price cut from 5 points to 3. In addition to healing you, Plains now gives you a 1% boost for every negative card you take to make it less committal. Temperance has been buffed to give 3% per damage taken instead of 2%. And there you have it, the second balance patch. Before we get to round 6 prompt though, I want to take a quick visit to the stats sheet because it's been a while since I've mentioned it in an episode. Our frontrunner by SRs is ZX. All 3 walk-ons naturally had incredibly high SR averages coming in, since you had to do that to live, but ZX is the only walk-on who's managed to stay at the top in second stage so far. You might think H would be miles ahead, but he's held down by placing 24th in round 1. I know the only other truly important stat is mentions, so here's what we look like with those. I won't say anybody's name to sway the rankings, but 12 is the most mentions anyone's ever received in one episode. Alright, let's get to the round 6 prompt. You can still compete in round 6 if you de-impede in round 5, by the way. All-Stars, your third prompt of second stage is... You broke a rule. Could be a law, a classroom rule, or a household rule. In any case, your strategy for getting out of it is to pretend that you're incredibly stupid and somehow misinterpreted a very obvious rule. What was the very clear rule you broke, and how did you pretend to misinterpret it? To illustrate what I'm talking about with this, here's an example response. I did take the garbage out. We went to Taco Bell. She was very nice. And that responds to the house rules that you have to take the garbage out, but you misinterpret it to mean take the garbage out to dinner. This one might be a bit difficult, so I'd suggest either starting your response earlier or maybe laying off on technicals just a little bit. Either way, I'm excited to see what you all come up with for this prompt. Good luck.